So they said, I just don't want her using my quotes in a book. She said she's going to write about what her clients say. And it's my therapy session, not hers, to draw parallels from her own life to mine. So that is like another wrinkle here or addition, a layer. Not hers to draw parallels from her own life to mine. So to me, this sounds like some self-disclosure kind of stuff, or maybe trying to normalize or relate or maybe validate, but it crosses over into a more of a friendly, non-professional kind of feel. That's kind of what I got from that. And did you hear that differently than I did?
Yep, I hear the same. I hear the same thing. Yep.
I will validate that for therapists. Let me just kind of play devil's advocate. We want to help, right? And I think we would naturally say to a friend, "Oh, like me too. I had this thing that happened," right? So there might be that natural pull, but like you said earlier, we got to catch those and say, like, okay, is this me feeling like I'm connecting, or is this an actual therapeutic intervention that is designed for the client in mind first and foremost?
Totally.
So I can validate, I think a lot of therapists do that, the self-disclosure thing, as a way they try to help, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes over the session, or it can, or it kind of like, I think it kind of maybe could even invalidate what the client's talking about. So those are my thoughts immediately. Like, I want to play devil's advocate and say, like, yeah, I get it, but I definitely hear where this client's coming from. That it's her therapy session, not the therapist, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think the key with all of that is the client knowing that they are justified. It's a good enough reason. If they're looking for a good enough reason, that is good enough to say something. And I think you can always, it's always a good enough reason, whatever your reasoning is, or whatever the frustration or the challenges that you're having with the clinician. I think you should always say something, because it's a relationship. And I think in relationships, we have to communicate about how we're feeling, and especially the therapeutic relationship, you know?
I think, yeah, if a client can handle that, sure. I have now, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but for me, there's been a couple of therapists I went to where 2 or 3 sessions in, I'm like, this is not going to work out. Is it something that I feel like I want to, address? Nah, let's kind of move on. There actually was one. There's someone that I met with a couple times, and she kept telling me about her mom, and I'm like, I don't.
I don't care about your
That's
mom.
not. I don't. I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I do in general, but also
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not why I'm here,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So I did make an attempt, and I had said to her, I just need you to listen. Like, I don't need whatever it is. I just want to be understood. I want someone to listen and kind of hear where I'm coming from and get it.
Mm-hmm.
But she just
Mm-hmm.
could not resist telling me about her mom. so, and so 3 sessions in, I
Mm-mm.
said, hey, I appreciate it. Got what I needed. Thank you so much. So I did make an attempt. I
Yep.
did. But it can be hard because, like you said before, with that power dynamic stuff, and then speaking up
Yeah.
for
And I
yourself,
think
and it can be difficult.
mm, the people pleasing aspect too.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that definitely a lot of us, I think, want to be known as like the good client or the favorite client. I would like to think that when I see my therapist that he's not like, oh God, Heidi's coming in today. Like I would want him to be like, oh, Heidi, like
For
that
sure.
he's
Yeah.
excited to see me, right? And I think our clients would be no different, that they don't want to think that when I look at my diary for the day, I'm like, oh, Justin's coming in. So I think a part of that is they want to be good. They want to be like, like I think we all want to go to therapy with like, I have good things to report, like if you're a recovering alcoholic, it's like, and I had an invitation to the pub and I didn't go, like we want to feel like our therapist is going to be proud of us, And so I think it makes it really tricky then if a therapist is doing dumb stuff or things that are frustrating or hurtful to the client, because it's really
It's a bad
hard, I
mix.
think,
Yeah. It's a
for
bad
them
mix.
to have the kind of courage to stand up and say something.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I know with my coach, she had her own podcast, and there was a time where she shared like something about a client. I'm like, that's me. She's talking about me. I felt so special.
That's
I,
awesome.
it
You
felt, I
made
felt,
the
yeah.
podcast.